After a busy weekend dealing with several calls for some alarming incidents in Greenfield, we wanted to know if the recent budget cuts to the city's police department were a factor and how police response time could affect the city's residents moving forward. Western Mass News reporter Olivia Hickey now joins us live in studio after getting answers from the acting police chief. Olivia?
Well, Matt, Interim Police Chief William Gordon tells Western Mass News that the department responds to anywhere from 27 to 32,000 calls of service per year. He tells us these calls are part of the department's regular routine. Over the past few days, the Greenfield Police Department has responded to several disturbing calls within the community, including on June 10th. After midnight, officers were called to the Juniper Court area for reports of shots fired after an alleged verbal argument escalated into a physical fight, which was not originally reported to police. One man was arrested on scene, another was arrested for an outstanding warrant, and the third man turned himself into police the next day without incident. State police and the Northwestern DA's office assisted on this case. That same day, a 12-year-old boy was arrested following a social media threat directed at Greenfield Middle School. In this case, Chicopee Police Department assisted. On June 11th, police responded to a report of a disturbance that ended in an arrest and officers finding a ghost gun. Police also responded to reports of graffiti described as hateful and graphic in Hillside Park's buildings and play structures. Last month, the City Council voted to cut the police department's budget by $425,000. However, Chief Gordon explains to Western Mass News that this uptick in reports is not related to the city's budget cuts, and they are fulfilling their duties to protect the city.
There may be a coincidence of this weekend of having a very busy weekend, but it is the beginning of summertime, and this is what we face almost every year at this time of year. So, a coincidence maybe, but an uptick of crime, I think it's too early to tell.
We also wanted to know how the budget cuts impact police's future response in the city. Gordon tells Western Mass News that there will be no delay of services in life-threatening calls, and the department can utilize state police in those situations if needed. However, he says following the budget cuts, there may be a delay in response time to some calls.
There may be some calls that we can't respond to, or some paperwork, for example, car accident paperwork that they're accustomed to receiving in a timely fashion may be delayed. There also may be delayed in other types of administrative work that the Greenfield Police Department does on a daily basis.
According to Gordon, 7 officers could be lost to layoffs due to these budget cuts. Gordon tells us he has not been alerted of any calls today. Greenfield Mayor Roxanne Wedge Gardner was not available for comment for our newscast. Live in studio, Olivia Hickey, Western Mass News.